This afternoon, new prices of fuel have taken effect at the pumps as the litre of petrol is now being sold at 17 cedis at some filling stations. The oil marketing companies are attributing the unstable and escalating prices to the depreciation of the cedi against the dollar. This comes barely 48 hours after government had announced plans of securing cheaper fuel. Here's chairman of the oil marketing companies, Kwekwaji Mandria, announcing the new prices.
There will be an increase in the next pricing window. Yes. Because of the gyration of cedi versus the dollar. For petrol, we're expecting 17. Yeah.
I think 17 cedi a litre for the lowest. For the lowest side of the spectrum.
Yes. Remember, over a period, we have really the issues have been piling up. Let's know we have to really get into.
This has been met by a huge public outcry, and this is to the continuous incremental fuel prices. My colleague Richard Kwejo has been engaging a section of the public. He joins me via Zoom with more. Kwejo, earlier you visited some fuel stations. What did you find? Kwejo, if you can hear me, earlier you visited some fuel stations. What can you report from there?
Well, so what I can report, Aisha, is that people are not taking it kindly at all. They are very, very angry. They are very, very angry because they cannot make ends meet. The drivers that we spoke to, they said that they cannot even break even. At the end of the day, they have to go home and feed their families. And so that is what they are saying. And they are calling on the president to do something about it, because every other day, it seems that the fuel prices are increased, and it is not something that they are taking lightly at all.
Transit yard, what are they telling you?
Well, so I'm currently at the Metro Mass Transit yard here, and what they are telling me is that for the past 2 years they have not increased their fares, and it is the increase in the fuel prices is affecting the operations, because ordinarily they should also be increasing like how the public or the other transport stations are also doing, but currently they are not doing so because they are for the public. And so they are calling on the president to do something about it, to give them more funds to be able to buy more buses in order to serve the general public. You know, in the wake of the fuel prices has that the public transport should be the alternative for people, so that people would park their buses or their cars and then they will be joining the public transport. But here they are also struggling. I've got the corporate affairs manager of Metro Mass, George Krobia Santi, to throw more light on the challenges they are facing. So tell me, I mean, I've seen a lot of these buses. Should I say they are grounded?
No. Let me say good afternoon to your viewers. The buses are not grounded. The buses you see here, some of them are for routine maintenance and checks. Others are also with a minor fault. We're supposed to work on it. As a workshop policy, anytime our bus comes from trip, we take it or we send the bus to the workshop. We check to see whether all the other components are working perfectly before we put the bus back on the road, because we want to save lives.
Now tell me, so how are you taking the fuel price increment? Is it affecting your operations as well?
It's adversely affecting us. I cannot even mix words with that. It's seriously affecting our operations. You know, Metro Mass as a company, we are already a pro initiative. We are not charging competitive fares, and for the last 2 years, if I'm right, we've actually not increased our fares. And even within this period, this year alone, we've witnessed several increase so far as fuel prices and other commodities are concerned. And we in the transport business, we are not only affected by fuel prices. Fuel happens to be one of our components. I mean, our main components, but it is not the other variables like spare parts, other things. lubricants, and what have you. These are things that once the fuel prices have gone up, all other items have actually also increased, and it is seriously affecting us. We are at this point calling on the central government to come to our aid, because as a policy we are charging fares that are lower than what other competitors are taking. For instance, we have other routes we are even charging 50% less. It's not as if management we don't want to review our fares, but it's a matter of policy, it's a matter of regulation. We are directly under the Ministry of Transport, and our board has the mandate to actually approve some of these things. So once you are not given the approval to do that, even though economically you are supposed to adjust your fares so you can keep the business running, you still have to obtain the approval from the minister before you can undertake such a.
There is a question about your maintenance regime. So all of these buses, you say that they are under maintenance?
I'm saying that per the nature of our operations, there are buses that are due for major maintenance. There are buses that are due for minor maintenance. When I talk of major maintenance, these are maintenance that has to do with engine works, axle rehabilitation, and what have you. Then there are other buses that are just for oil changing, fan bed changing, probably tire, worn out tire, you're supposed to replace it. These are minor.
They are not on the road.
Then we have daily routine maintenance. You know, a bus comes back from road, you take it to workshop, and then you have something we call a pre-checklist. Before you send the bus on road, you're supposed to actually do a pre-check to make sure that all the other variables on the bus are working perfectly before, because you need to save lives, and that is why we have better safety record in this country than any other transport company.
So now here you are calling on the central government to provide more funds so that you get more buses to join your fleet, right?
Because when you look at the trend, just as COVID came, there was a time private transport operators were on strike, and the whole population depended on Metro Mass for as an alternative means of movement of goods and people. So we are saying that the government is supposed to actually come to our aid. We're supposed to have more buses so that we can rise up to the occasion. Because we've reached a point as a country, we cannot continue to be moving our private cars all the time on road. Even look at the congestions in our cities. But if we are able to actually position some of this public transport very well, like Metro Mass, trust me, we will be able to save this country a lot of money, and we will also be able to make movement of goods and people very easy for people, and more convenient too.
Is there an increase in your patronage? Are people patronizing your services because you have maintained your fares, you have not reviewed them?
No, Metro Mass, we have our markets, we have our customers, because we normally, most of our routes are hinterlands where other private operators do not want to go because economically or financially it's not viable. But because we are a company that is a proper initiative, the idea is that we are supposed to make movement of goods and people from hinterlands to the urban centers very smooth, very easy, and very convenient for people. That is what we are doing. We are not driven by profit. However, as a company,
are you seeing some increase in your patronage?
Of course. As a company, you are supposed to break even. At the end of the day, when you put buses on the road and you're not getting people, where do you find money to buy fuel? Where do you find money to buy spare parts and what have you?